Some days it takes a lot of courage just to get out of bed and face an ordinary day. Our world is beautiful, but also chaotic. People we love lift us up, then hurt us. Negative emotions can strike without warning, from hormonal shifts to getting bad news, leaving heavy imprints that are hard to shake off. Imagine spending 30 years on death row for crimes you didn't commit. We can try and relate to this, thinking of the 2 pandemic years, but multiply whatever you were feeling then by at least 15. There is no way this person doesn't end up deeply bitter, cynical, and angry at the world. Yet, Anthony Ray Hinton, who faced this unimaginable situation, seemed to discover a kind of inner peace, or at least inner freedom, while spending much of his life in a death row cell. How did he find freedom in that cell? Actually, that's too daunting a question. Perhaps it's better to ask ourselves, how do we avoid inner chaos, which we are all too familiar with? These aren't just philosophical questions for me, they are deeply personal ones. When an external event upsets me, it's hard not to get sucked into all the negative emotions. I tend to overthink and sometimes get caught in cycles of negative thoughts, making matters worse. Sometimes our biology just decides to take us on a roller coaster. If you've experienced hormonal fluctuations, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These emotions just don't make sense. And it can be really scary when we stray so far away from our best selves and don't even realize it. I first came across Hinton's story through his book, The Sun Does Shine, when I was searching for inspiration during a difficult time. His story resonated deeply with me, as I was living in a county affectionately known as sunny Suffolk in the east of England, which is where I'm filming this video. Suffolk is the opposite of a prison cell. It's my safe haven, where I've come to spend the weekend with family. Waking up in the beautiful English countryside, you hear birds chirping and occasionally seagulls too. People are friendly. They greet you when you walk down little country lanes and leave books and food at unused bus stops for anyone to help themselves. The nature here is vibrant and it's warmer by the sea too. Perhaps it's just me, but the sun truly does seem to shine brighter in sunny Suffolk. I feel very fortunate to have spent the pandemic years here, surrounded by loved ones, finding some level of calm amidst the global chaos and my own emotional fragility at the time. You might be wondering how ironic it is that I'm talking about death row while spending time in such a beautiful place. But here's the thing, even the most beautiful places can become prisons in our mind. Being back here reminded me of those times where I felt imprisoned by my situation. There was so much peace and love around me, and looking back, it's hard to believe I still felt trapped, missing simple freedoms like seeing friends or getting bubble tea. It's a stark reminder of how we can internally shackle ourselves even though we're in the best possible place given the circumstances. Hinton may not have escaped his physical prison for many years, but he refused to let it define the boundaries of his inner world. Through imagination and sheer will, he shielded himself from internal chaos. If you've read his book, you know how harrowing and disturbing death row can be. He imagined being in wonderful places, doing enjoyable things, like marrying celebrities or having tea with the Queen. His book club positively impacted himself and other death row inmates. He could have easily chosen to give up and turn into a bitter, resentful person, but he chose not to. Most of us are not in physical prison cells. But how do we escape the metaphorical ones as well? This is where our locus of control comes into play. Our locus of control is the degree to which we believe we have control of the events in our lives. Imagine an old school scale or balance where you put weights on either side. Now, instead of weights, put your thoughts and actions on one side and external factors like luck, fate, or even divine intervention on the other. If we believe our thoughts and actions have more influence or weight on our lives compared to external factors, then we have more of an internal locus of control. On the other hand, if we believe that our thoughts and actions have little influence over what's happening to us, then our locus of control is tilting externally. Hinton's story is a masterclass in how an internal locus of control, the belief that our thoughts and choices still matter, can help us preserve our dignity, hope, and even joy in the face of overwhelming adversity. He found freedom by focusing on what he could control, his thoughts and actions, rather than the injustice he couldn't change. What if finding our way through isn't about feeling okay or fixing everything out there, but about recognizing, even momentarily, that there's stillness somewhere within us? A space that doesn't vanish just because our emotions are loud. That those emotions are not the whole of who we are and never will be. That we can sit with them, hold them gently, and respond to our inner scared child or adult with compassion when things fall apart. Perhaps, like me, you find comfort in nature. With spring here, I'm seizing every opportunity to spend time outdoors, to breathe in the grassy air and notice the vibrant flowers that dot the landscape. Perhaps yoga or movement is your jam. The practice of marrying breath with movement helped me process emotions that were buried deep inside. What began as a rather awkward exercise gradually became a powerful tool for developing self-compassion, and it's a practice I've continued. These positive sensory experiences become anchors, small reminders that we're not trapped even when we feel overwhelmed. And let's not forget the power of connection. As an introvert, my natural tendency is to isolate myself at home where I feel safest when things are going wrong. But the most challenging yet rewarding strategy for me is engaging with people I share meaningful relationships with. It requires strength and a lot of personal coaxing to do this, but I find it's always worth the effort. And the company doesn't always need to be human. When Mum's horses unexpectedly followed me through the woods, playfully nipping at my jacket and licking my feet, it created this wonderfully humorous and heartwarming moment of connection. Later, we were walking the neighbor's dog, and it was soothing to watch him bound joyfully through the fields and occasionally stop for cuddles. Unbelievable. And here's the thing, even if you can't physically get to your haven, you can find it in your imagination. Think about Anthony Ray Hinton. If he could carve out light and find inner freedom in such terrible circumstances, then maybe we can too. Creating these videos are a form of therapy for me, an attempt to remind myself that my thoughts and actions have a more profound impact on my life than whatever else that might be happening externally. In doing this, I hope that it offers you some inspiration, some courage to face another ordinary day. Perhaps you've recognized the prisons you have created in your mind. Maybe you've already found your version of Suffolk, or maybe you're still searching. Either way, I'd love to know what it looks and feels like for you. The beautiful thing is that you can return to this feeling, physically or mentally, whenever you need it.